diligently means, it means creating a crisis. And actually, it explains the entire Biden regime. They've been working diligently on inflation, working diligently at the border. They really worked diligently on the withdrawal from Afghanistan. That was super diligent. Is this what they meant when they told us the grown-ups were back in charge?
I do think ultimately you're going to see adults in the room.
Amen to the adults being back in the room.
We've got grown-ups in the room.
It felt like the grown-ups were back in charge.
We have a president who has surrounded himself with competent individuals.
I think we're going to have competency back.
How's that working out, Amy Klobuchar? We were promised the West Wing and we ended up with Veep. What smug, self-satisfied BS the whole thing was. Grown-ups in the room, effective governance, administrative competence, working diligently. What a joke. They're so incompetent, they're now even admitting they've known about it since last year.
I've known, and FDA has kept me apprised of this from last year. We have been moving as quickly as we can.
As quick?
Everything I've known, and FDA has kept me apprised of this from last year. We have been moving as quickly as we can.
As quickly as you can? We've gone from warp speed with Trump to car crash under Biden. Biden's economics chief gave us a new timeline this morning.
When will baby formula be available to Americans in the way that they need?
It's going to take a little bit of time.
Oh, a little bit of time, just a little bit of time. Yeah, because you've only had 3 months. Today, the media breathlessly report on a military flight bringing in formula from Switzerland as if it's some kind of triumph. What are you talking about? We should never have been in this situation in the first place. Just look what Biden's done to our standing in the world, begging for oil from Venezuela and baby formula from Europe. According to Bloomberg, this whole thing may have even been a false alarm anyway. The suspicious samples all tested negative, and there was no genetic match between tests taken at the Michigan factory and babies that got sick. A completely unnecessary, self-created crisis. And, of course, in time-honored Biden fashion, they found a way to make it worse. CNN tried the emergency website the Biden people created for anxious parents and ended up waiting on hold for an hour and 12 minutes only to be told to look at another website. It is all a complete and utter shambles with devastating consequences for the weakest and most vulnerable in our society. And of course, just as a fish rots from the head down, diligence flows from the top down. So let's bring in the most diligent of them all. Not just Mr. Unity, not just Mr. Empathy, but the diligent master of this smooth-running machine, Joe Biden.
I'll answer the baby formula question because all of a sudden it's on the front page of every newspaper. If we'd been better mind readers, I guess we could have, but we moved as quickly as the problem became apparent to us.
All of a sudden, as soon as it became apparent to you, the day before you said that, your own White House said you'd been working diligently on it for months. And that was the moment when it all became clear. Everything we've been saying. Biden literally has no clue what's going on around him. No clue. Did they brief him about the months of working diligently and he forgot? Or did they not even bother telling him what's going on? This is the real crisis, the underlying crisis. The crisis underlying the inflation crisis and the border crisis and the Afghan crisis and this baby crisis and all the others. Biden's capacity to do his job.
What am I doing here?
I mean, just look at him. There's nothing there.